Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to everyone. We're excited to have another great year for the Parks Board. To continue, this is the City of Sugar Land Parks Board meeting. It's 5:30 on January 14th, 2025. It's exciting year. I'm calling this Sugar Land Parks Board meeting to order. Please note that this is a meeting open to the public and is being recorded as per the Texas Open Meetings Act, which is available to the public. But before we start, I want to announce that we do have a new board member, Mr. Sonny Johnston here sitting to the left of me. I won't put you on the spot, but anyway, hopefully you haven't had a chance to meet him. Please introduce yourself. But he actually attended the Christmas event as well as the ethics and board meeting back in December. So welcome to the Parks Board. The first item we have on here is, are there any other public comments? Okay, great. All right, the other item that we have been informed, just to kind of explain a little bit more, we are to hopefully everyone read the November meeting minutes that were here, and we're going to be taking an action on the meeting minutes for the November 12th, 2024 meeting. So let's get a motion for consideration, taking the action of.
I'll make a motion that we take consideration of and action on the minutes of November 12th.
Thank you, Joan. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Chelsea. Those in favor of the actual meeting minutes? All in favor? Thank you very much. All opposed? No? Okay. All right, the second item we have on here is, all right, look at the orientation. So before I start to William Hodgick will present the review and discussion of the Parks Board Advisory Board orientation and review of the Parks Board department itself. Mr. Hodgick?
We also thought this was an ethics training.
Well, we'll get to that. Yeah,
I'm next.
we'll get to that
Just
first.
a preview. Next item on the agenda.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't get an agenda because I'm not on board.
All right.
Hojan, thank you. I promise I will try to be as brief as I can. Several people already today was already reminding me that y'all are on a timeline. So it's like they think I like to talk. Okay, I don't think I like to talk, but.
Right.
So here we go. Sonny, good to meet you. I'm William Hodgick. Most of y'all know me, Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. And I'm going to go over our annual orientation, starting with department overview. And here in Parks and Recreation, let's see, did I go too much? Yep. We strive to create and maintain unparalleled recreation opportunities and unique high-quality parks and public spaces while enhancing our community with exceptional customer service. We're active, passive, multi-generational, and diverse. Premier recreation is our goal. Okay, with that, we have divisions in Parks and Recreation. We have our administration. Michelle's there in the back. Maintenance and development, that's what I'm over. We have the T. Harmon Senior Center and Bureau Park Recreation Center. Recreation special events, and we do all that with 31 full-time staff and 9 part-time staff when we're fully staffed. We have a total of 2,581 parks acres, with 1,400 of that being developed, and 1,179 of that being undeveloped park acres, and about 39 miles of trails. We have 27 parks in total, with 15 neighborhood parks, 6 community level parks, and 6 regional level parks. All the way from Eldridge Park on our north and Cullinan Park on our west, and Oyster Creek Park on the east, all the way down to Brazos River Memorial Parks on the south. Okay, special use facilities is the Crown Festival Park. Yes, we maintain that and host events there. So, and it's also available for reservation. The Town Square Plaza is right here at City Hall. Facilities maintains this building, but we host a bunch of events outside, and many of y'all were there at the Christmas tree lighting, Jim mentioned earlier. And the plaza adjacent to Marks the about 3-acre plaza outside of Smart Financial Center. It's called the Plaza. We have Party on the Plaza coming up pretty soon, and that is this green space that Parks maintains. And one other special use facility is Go Ape. It's a public-private partnership out at Brazos with Go Ape. It's a zip line adventure course, really cool. Oh, I have to point out that pump track was one of my favorite pictures because I was the project manager of that project, but I'm not calling out names here, so. All right. The pump track is at the Crown Festival site. That's why the picture was up there. Activity centers. We have the wonderful Imperial Park Recreation Center that houses fitness and recreational programs for youth and adults. Multi-generational center, basically, recreation. And I'm pleased to announce, I might be spilling the beans here a little bit, but Emily, I'm gonna go ahead and mention it.
You're good, you're good.
All right. The cardio weight room that was funded by Sugarland 4B as part of the 5 quick win projects is nearing completion. Heather in engineering and Brianna and staff have done a wonderful job wrapping that up. It's almost open to the public. It will be open very soon. I looked at it yesterday and it looks awesome.
That's like awesome.
So, T. Harmon Senior Center, that building is adjacent to the IPRC off of Motlidge Way, and that's for our seniors 50 and up. Okay, they can also go to the rec center as well, but they have their own space. All right, on events, wonderful events. I'm sure Brianna could probably talk for a couple hours on events, but I don't know that I have a favorite, but here's some of the top events that we have. Of course, the Parks Event Series, Sugar Gala, the Art and Kite Festival coming up in March at the Crown, and Memorial Day Ceremony, Red, White, and Blue, July 4th, and Sugarland Fall Fest, and Christmas tree lighting, of course, that we just had. Okay, so I zoomed through that, and I'm going to keep going at breaknecking speed here on our purpose, duties, and responsibilities, the fun stuff, right? So the Parks, for the Parks Board to provide input, the City Council's vision is for Parks Board to provide input, feedback, and advice on projects and programs to enrich the visual and aesthetic environment of the city, to advise on other matters relating to long-term goals and objective for parks, recreation, and cultural activities, streetscapes, and urban forestry programs, and to ensure an environment where all citizens can share and enjoy the full diversity and vitality of the city. Duties: to make recommendations to Parks and Recreation staff, City Council and City Manager or designee regarding Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan, which we did in 2018, Pedestrian Bicycle Plan, Cultural Arts Strategic Plan, Public Arts Plan, proposed development of city parks and facilities, long-term goals, objectives, or policies pertaining to parks and recreational activities, and design and plans. Additional duties: make recommendations to city manager or designee regarding the establishment of any park ordinance, serve as an appeal board for department policies affecting the public, and serve as the Tree Cities Advisory Board in accordance with section 5-382. And then there you can see the city council policy number and the city council ordinance number. So Tree City USA is something I'll approve each year within Reading Public Works. So it's more than just parks. Who are you representing? Our customers, citizens, youth sports associations, community organization groups, visitors, guests, and tourists of our beautiful city. Our customers, you are the signing board of citizens' needs and desires. Use survey tools and public input opportunities for needs assessments. Most importantly, have direct person-to-person contact with the citizens, your neighbors, both users and non-users of parks and recreational facilities and programs. Handling complaints and suggestions. Avoid arguing. Always thank the citizen for their comments. Get specific information. Remember that it's okay not to know all the answers. And refer citizens to call 311 or our 281-275-2825 number. There's the email of 311@sugarlandtx.gov or report a concern via the website at sugarlandtx.gov/311. So that's our call center here at City Hall. Sugarland specific, right? So member guidelines: be willing to invest time and attend the majority of the meetings. Balance your special interests with those of the board. Develop priorities as a team and be willing to compromise when appropriate. Listen and withhold judgment until all facts are discussed. Represent the board at various community functions. Seek to have a well-rounded interest in all areas: parks, arts, recreation, and culture. Member attendance: your commitment is essential to the success of our Parks Board meetings. Be willing to invest time and attend board meetings. City council may dismiss any member for poor attendance. 3 consecutive meetings missed, except for special circumstances, is deemed automatic resignation. Check emails for board updates and respond in a timely manner. Meetings cannot occur if there's no quorum. So we must have 5 members present, 5 or more members present to have a quorum so we can have an official meeting. Virtual attendance doesn't count, must be in person to count towards that quorum. Okay? All right, here's our 2024-2025 board, all you wonderful people. Thank y'all.
Not all of us.
Not all of y'all.
Come join us.
Come join us. Oh, the closer people, all right, at the table.
Table.
But thank y'all for being part of Parks Board this year. Appreciate y'all. Okay, our meetings. All right, obviously today is January 14th. Halfway through January already, can't believe it. And then our next meeting, okay, our meetings are Tuesday, the second Tuesdays each month at 5:30 unless Michelle lets y'all know otherwise, right? Via email. But February 11th, March 11th, April 8th, May 13th, June 10th, July 8th, August 12th, and September 9th is our next meetings coming up. Right around the corner. We follow the Robert's Rule of Order. Aim for organized, well-run meetings, speak on one at a time, and let's listen to each other. Avoid digressing into unrelated topics during agenda items. Post meeting. Let's all support the decisions and recommendations of your board and move forward with a unified voice. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions about orientation and our ethics training, or not our ethics training, you're doing ethics training. Our rules.
I want to make sure
Responsibilities.
I just want to make sure I emphasize the actual meetings that we attend. Of course, we're going to miss every now and then, but make sure they notify Parks and Rec and let them know that you're going to be missing. And remember the rules of the 3 consecutive. That's important. So I'd like everyone to attend, and I know most everyone does, and then I appreciate those efforts. But it's one as a reminder, and it's the second Tuesday of every month. So we will have it unless Michelle and the staff lets us know. So that's why thank you very much. Anything else? Any questions or comments?
Questions, comments?
Thank you, William.
Hey, thanks for y'all's time. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hodgick. So first, before we go on to the next item, I want to welcome all of our board members here in our meeting. Welcome. Now for the main attraction. It's training. So receiving training related to the Sugar Land Code of Ethics, Conduct and State Laws. Regulating ethics and reporting responsibility of city officials. Marie, the attorney, executive director, will be presenting. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you to the other surprise guests who didn't realize that you had a whole bunch of more meeting in front of you. There is a sign-in sheet in the back. Please make sure you've signed in. Otherwise, you're going to get an email inviting you to the February meeting. If your name's not on that list, you get to play the game again. And I know even if you want to play again, you're still welcome to. You can come back every time I do a makeup session. So I will hopefully be as fast as William's record-breaking orientation. But if you know me, I do a game every year. I like to play games. You gotta have a little humor here. So we're gonna play the game of ethics because I'm ethical. These are not my images. These are Hasbro's. So I'm gonna go as fast as William, hopefully. So what are our objectives of this game today? You're gonna receive an overview of the code. You receive the training because it's required that you attend this training annually. If you don't, you get nasty emails from people. You are subject to being removed from your board. And you can get sanctions from the ethics board. It just depends on the mood that your liaison is in, but you do have to attend this every 12 months. So please keep that in mind. And you will hopefully, fingers crossed, successfully serve your upcoming term with no ethics violations because it makes my life easier and it bores the ethics board. So who gets to play our little game this evening and this next year? All members of city council, all members of advisory boards and commissions. And we also sometimes invite former council members and former board members to play, but all the time it will be you all. And we have a couple things that apply to candidates for office. Now I'm going to go over a bunch of stuff. Not all of them will apply to your board. For those sitting behind you, I don't know your future aspirations. Some people jump from board to board. Some of you may want to sit on city council. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you all the rules that apply to everybody. That way, if you have future aspirations, you'll know what to expect. And if you see a violation, you know how to point it out. So I'm gonna go, like I said, hopefully as fast as William, but I'm not that good. So we have 8 basic rules of the game. You can read them. I'm gonna go through all of them. So special economic benefit. These are some of the really important stuff when you get to like 4A, 4B, city council, and sometimes P and Z. So special conflict of interest is when you have special interest in an item on the agenda. So the business entity, I'd like you to keep in mind the rule of 10% or 15,000. So if 10% of your annual income is derived from that company that's on the agenda for your approval, you have a conflict of interest. Or if you made $15,000 from them in the past year. Conflict of interest, real property, so if you have item on BSC, PNZ, ZBA, and your value is 2,500 or more, you have a conflict of interest, and you're saying, what do I do if I have a conflict of interest? You get to file a conflicts disclosure statement with the city clerk's office, and you must abstain from the item. We ask you to leave the room. I know none of you are on the Astros. However, there has been rumors in the past where they can throw signs and do sorts of things. We don't want anybody to accuse anybody on any board of doing that. So we're gonna have to ask you to step out just to make sure. So also, if you happen to be related to a vendor of an item on the agenda, you get to tell us all about it. So if you receive, 2,500 or more, or your relative from that entity, you get to tell the city clerk's office. And if you're related by the 3rd degree of consanguinity, 2nd degree of affinity. I don't remember what those are. I have a beautiful chart I keep on my desk, these wonderful little circles. If you need me to send it to you, I'm very happy to do so. Basically, if you invite them over for a holiday dinner, you probably need to disclose it. So this makes more sense when I do this in December. You get to brag about gifts. I call them gifts, state law calls them gifts, the county attorney and the district attorney call them bribes. So basically, under state law and the code of ethics, you get to brag if a vendor gives you a gift of lodging, a hotel room, a B&B, come borrow my camper, transportation, hey, come fly in first class, sit next to me in this train. If we still do trains, I don't know. I'll pay for your Uber, entertainment. Like, if you really know people and you get World Series tickets, invite me along. Because I have to tell you, after 25 years, no one has tried to bribe me yet. So I'm holding out hope for y'all. Not that I want you to be bribed, I just want to see somebody get bribed and you tell us about it. Hope out there. And food, you'll see that the food has the asterisk. So the value of all these has to cumulatively be $100 in a rolling 12-month period. So if you get $99 worth of stuff, that's all yours. You don't have to brag about it. Once you hit that 100, fill out the form, let us all know. Now, like I said, the food has the asterisk. If you have the inconvenience of sitting at the table with the person who is trying to bribe you or offer you a gift of food, you get to spend up to $500. So you are paid for your inconvenience and having to spend time with the vendor rather than your own family. Go ahead and order dessert, an appetizer, get a to-go box, because you get an extra $400 to spend under this requirement. So there's a couple extra rules. So James,
Rolling 12 months or per event?
rolling 12 months, 12 months. So yes, you get a whole 12 months, it starts, so just be careful that you time it well. Additional rules, doing business with the city. So if you happen to be sitting on city council, like you may have future aspirations, you can only have a substantial contract not to exceed $1,000. And it's during your term. So if you're a one-term council member, you sit there 3 years, that's fine. If you happen to go all out and go for your full 9, you gotta be really careful that you are not doing business with the city. So no city council member can enter into a contract with the city over the term of their contract that would cumulatively, not a rolling 12 months, but cumulatively exceed $1,000. Representations and appearances, you probably have remembered, if you've seen this in the past, I like to bring a hat, take it on, take it off, and we get to talk about who you are and who I am. So if you're on a meeting and you want to be a speaker up at the meeting, or if you want to go on Nextdoor or Facebook or Instagram or whatever it might be today, I can never keep track. You need to say what capacity you're talking in. So you say, in my capacity as a board member for this board, as a member of the Parks Board, as a member of ZBA, BSC, PNZ, I think blah, blah, blah. Or Meredith, as just this person who lives down the street, believes blah, blah, blah. It's very important that you know which hat you're speaking under. It's more important for more forward-facing boards such as PNZ and city council when more controversial things come up, but it does apply to other boards. We actually had some questions come up related to the animal advisory board, and you would think, really? Person has to always say what hat they're on. Also, if you decide you want to go talk in front of another public hearing, we ask that you go up there and say, as a member of PNZ, I believe we did this right, or we did this wrong, or I voted this way. You say, oh, hey, I'm the neighbor, I live 4 houses down, and so it's very clear which capacity you're making the statement in. Also, representations, you cannot go in front of another board, you cannot go in front of your own board and represent somebody for 2 years if they pay you. If you do it for free, have at it. That's a really quirky little thing that's in there, but that's one thing the commission has pointed out in the last few months. So just don't make money representing people from another board for 2 years. Misuse and disclosure of official information. I seriously doubt anybody on any of the boards in here will ever be sued in their capacity as a advisory or appointed commissioner. However, if you have that misfortune, you'll get to sit in the council dining room with me. I'm going to give you some legal advice. I ask that you don't share that outside the room because that is official information. Additionally, if you have other type of information being shared amongst the board, you have an upcoming project or something you might need to approve, or you need to vote on, like a decision, we ask that if you have confidential information related to that, you do not use that information to your own personal benefit. So if you were sitting on a different board such as 4B or 4A and you know we're about to purchase some property, we ask that you don't go, guess what, Bob? I'm gonna buy the property next door because tomorrow it's gonna be doubled in price because the city's gonna buy it. So we ask that you don't use that to your own personal benefit and you don't share that with anyone else. Participation in procurement. Like I said, those of you who have aspirations to sit on city council, we ask that you do not participate in procurement. We have state laws that we have to follow. We bid and we go through the whole process. If a council member wants to get up there and say, hey, I want you to pick my vendor, I want you to approve this, or if they give extra information to that vendor, the vendor is disqualified. The city will not do business with a vendor who has extra information that other vendors do not have. That's a violation of state law. It's a violation of our ethics code. If we find out a council member is doing that, a complaint can be filed with the City Ethics Commission. Campaign contributions. Oh, trying to go as fast as William, out of breath. Campaign contributions. So if you are collecting campaign funds to sit on city council, you cannot take campaign contributions from anybody who is suing the city, excluding attorney fees, for $25,000 or more. Because you get to go have those little conversations with me in the back room about how we're gonna settle or whatever, and we don't want it to look like you are buying a verdict. So if you send your campaign report every few months, we go through it and go, you better give that back. Because it is an ethics violation because you cannot buy a verdict from the city. So I went really fast and I know you have many more questions. You're dying to read the whole thing word by word. So this evening, when you cannot sleep, you can go to chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances and read it in its all glory. Also, if you have questions, this is one of my favorite topics, feel free to send an email. cityattorney@sugarlandtx.gov. I love answering ethics questions as they pertain to the city. And there's this magic thing called a get out of jail free card. So if you think you're about to do something that may be a violation, but if you email me and talk to me about it, I will give you a written response that says, I believe based on the facts you presented, that this is the action you should go forward with. If you take these actions, it will be the following violations. Now, if you follow that and the facts are accurate as you say, and I say don't do it, and you don't do it, but somebody files a complaint, the ethics board will go, well, the board members followed the rules. Meredith is the one that couldn't figure it out. I'm in trouble, not you. So we call it the get out of jail free card. So what happens if somebody doesn't follow the rules? You can have it's required to have a written complaint signed and sworn and filed with the city clerk's office. It must be filed within 1 year of the violation occurring or 1 year of you determining the violation has occurred or if you discovered it. That once it is filed, it comes to my office for review. I review it for, is the person who is subject to the complaint subject to the code? So sorry, William, can't keep up. City employees are not subject to the code. Only council members, boards and commission members, and like I said, in a few cases, future and past. So as long as the person the complaint is filed on is subject to the code, it moves to the next step. It must be signed and sworn, must be within a year, and the complaint must allege a violation of the code. So if you come back here and you say, wow, this person on the Parks Board ran a stop sign, I'll say, I'm sorry, that's not the ethics code. Have a great day. You know, so it's got to be all those qualifications. Once I've determined those qualifications have been met, it moves on to the independent ethics review board where they look at it and determine whether or not they believe if the facts that's presented are true, a violation has occurred. If so, then they have a full-blown hearing and go through all of that. And if they determine a violation has occurred, they can then issue sanctions. And you say, what are these sanctions? These are the sanctions. One is it shouldn't have done it. And number 7 is the recommendation of recall. And you have to recommend recall. They cannot actually remove somebody, because if you're voted in, you have to be voted out. So do you have any questions? Yeah. See if you have any questions. Yes, sir.
How many times a year does the ethics commission do an investigation?
Okay, so the ethics commission. The ethics commission in their entire time period has only heard they heard 3 complaints. And those were actually all within a 12-month period. So I am very happy to say that just about all the time, everybody gets up here, plays my game, and they said, I'm gonna follow the rules. And they go above and beyond and don't do anything that even looks like violating the rules, and nobody complains because y'all are so awesome. But they do get bored. I mean, they are ready because they do practice, but they get bored. Are you gonna file one? So they're gonna meet tomorrow. Just let me know, okay.
I like the CBA.
So now that we've gone over the rules, you've met the contestants, you know how to play, we're gonna have a quick game, okay? So the game of life, let's spin. So now, to increase revenue and promote tourism within the city, a council member suggests the city install kayak-friendly boat ramps at the Brazos River Turnaround and on Oyster Creek near Constellation Field. So does it matter? Is it a violation that this particular council member's daughter also happens to own a rent by the hour inflatable kayak company? First one you got right. Great. So always the supportive parent, this council member makes a few phone calls and gets the boat ramp idea in front of this board. And you are all excited about it and you review it and you give positive feedback. Do we have concerns about the council member making these phone calls? So proud of y'all. So obviously y'all are excited about this. And so you enthusiastically endorse this prospect. And one of you said, you know what we need? Food trucks. We need food trucks. So somebody here, I'm not gonna point fingers, but one of you likes food trucks. So then, once you've made your recommendation, it goes on to the P and Z. And as the idea is being presented amongst P and Z, one of those commissioner texts their spouse and says, hey, honey, let's go buy that food truck. This is our chance. Do we have any violations here? Oh, what do you think the violations are?
Using information that.
It's not inside information because it was presented in a public room. They did not have information that the public did not already have access to. Trick question. So far, nobody in the Parks Board and nobody on P and Z has made a mistake. We just have this one rogue council member. So obviously this boat ramp idea was fantastic. Now we're at SLDC and 4B is looking at it and they want to get some incentives because they want to have the best kayak company possible run this boat ramp. And you all loved it and you all enthusiastically endorsed it. Good thing this daughter, for the good thing of the daughter, the council member is on both economic development boards. Good luck, right? And so ignoring all limitations in state law, both boards say, you know what? We're gonna give you the best incentive package we can under state law. We have violations here? Yes. I would hope we are all going, yeah, we do, that council member. Okay, so we got the financing, we've got your endorsement. Zoning is in place because now you have to do a little bit of zoning issues because, you know, it used to just be a turnaround and now we're doing some extra stuff. And the city council votes to grant this daughter the exclusive license to operate kayak rentals at both boat ramps. Do we have problems? Yes. The council members should have abstained and walked out of the room. They couldn't vote on it, right? Okay, so for 6 months, everything is going great. Expectations have been exceeded. We're making a ton of money. Nobody's getting sick at this food truck. The P&Z person's happy. Their spouse is happy. Unfortunately, over Labor Day, kayaker got bit by an alligator. You know, Oyster Creek, who would have guessed? So the kayaker obviously sued the inflatable kayak company, realized they have no money, despite having these wonderful incentives. They also sued the city. So as a result, city council goes into executive session in that old council dining room and gets information related to the lawsuit. Do we have any concerns or issues at this point? What is it, sir?
Well, council members shouldn't participate. The one that's got the daughter and the,
Perfect. Are you gonna run for council? Cause you're already on the right track. Perfect. Good issue spotting. This is your first, oh, you were here in December. Yeah. You know, memory, good memory. He goes ahead and settles that lawsuit, revokes the daughter's exclusive license, and opens the ramps to the public free of charge. But we're not done just yet. We're almost done. So a local resident and business owner is pretty pissed because he didn't get a chance to be the exclusive. He didn't get all these incentives. So he files a complaint with the Independent Ethics Review Board because he wanted to compete for that license. So we're now at the day of reckoning. We're the last square on the board. The Independent Ethics Review Board receives and hears all this complaint. So what violations, if any, would they sustain? So we already know that nobody on the Parks Board and nobody on P and Z made a mistake. I see you're about to give away the answer. You've already played the game. Do we have anybody other than that council member in the hot seat? We don't.
It's no.
No, but the one council member has several very significant conflict of interest violations, right? And most likely, and I talked to the ethics board as I was putting this together, most likely they're gonna go ahead and recommend recall because this person was so offensively over the top. So thank you all for playing. If you have questions, you can ask me now, you can ask me after, because I'm a few minutes before I go to P and Z. And you know, just email me, I'll have you put out a free jail card, and if you happen to get offered a bribe, please let me know, because like I said, 25 years, no one's offered a bribe. So y'all are free. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Meredith.
Sorry, William, tried.
Yes.
Fast.
Not gonna hang out if y'all want to, but.
exciting.
You don't want more slides in there, right?
You know, to get for everybody.
Very nice.
Okay, I tried.
We'll slow it down a bit. Thank you so much, Meredith. Appreciate your
Thanks for
presentation.
allowing me to be here.
So the next item we have on is the workshop, so we'll slow it down a little bit.
Slow down, slow down.
It's only 6 o'clock. It's really good timing. So the first item we have on the workshop is a review of the discussion on the proposal fiscal year 2025 Parks and Rec special events. Ms. Carla Allen, interim events production manager, will be presenting.
Why did you set the tone and say that what we doing slow?
We're to listen fast.
I know. Hi, everybody. I'm Carla. I am currently the interim events production manager for Parks and Recreation Special Events. Welcome. This is special events. This is bright, this is vibrant. This is definitely special events. My team is consists of actually 3 since I'm interim. And you know, I'm stuck in that. Am I a coordinator? Am I a manager? I don't know. But all 3 of us coordinate events. It's Elizabeth Abraham and Benicia Hoffman. Today, I will be going over our 2025 events, changes and transitions, calendar of events, what's new, and sponsorships, things of that nature. Currently, this is what we have: International Art and Kite Fest, Chess Fest, On Track World Qualifier, Bikes and Brews, Memorial Day, Food Truck Friday, Red, White, Boom, Party at the Plaza, Fall Fest, Yappy Hour, and my personal favorite, Christmas tree lighting, because everybody loves Christmas. We're excited to bring some new ideas to the city of Sugar Land this year. These are 4 of the 7 locations that we typically have our events at. The top one is Sugarland Memorial Park. At the bottom left is Palm Springs Dog Park. Top right is Brazos River Park. And at the bottom is what William was talking about earlier, the part that they maintain, the Smart Financial Center Plaza. Also, I want to go back to this Brazos River Park picture. Is this like, I was told, or maybe I heard that this was like one of the tallest slides in Sugarland. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Like if I was a kid, like I would definitely want to do that. Speaking of different locations, though, we have Chess Fest here. Chess Fest typically kicks off our winter or beginning of spring season. Chess Fest has grown more and more every year. Last year, we had over 100+ registered large tented spaces with Sugarland Town Square Plaza. We have even had some on-site instructors set up chess classes offered through our current recreation programs. This event will be shifting locations from Sugarland Town Square, which is outdoor, to the T. Harmon Center, which is indoor. The shift will allow us to focus more on the tournament elements of the event and treat it more like a program instead of a festival. Continuing on the topic within the city of locations, the Parks and Recreation Department is currently transitioning our city-run July 4th event, Red, White, and Boom, to a partnership with the Astros for 2025. This partnership offers several advantages, including access to greater financial resources, innovative programming, and operational efficiencies. We will continue to work with the Astros programming, but the plan is for Red, White, and Boom to shift locations from Crown Festival to Constellation Field, similar to when we partnered with them in 2016. So let's start with our Parks event series. These events is what I think of as our smaller events. Even though there's a lot of planning to it, they are typically from 6 to 8 p.m. And in those, and they're held at our parks, obviously. We'll begin with Bites and Brews in April at Brazos River Park. This event is hosted along with FBMBA, Fort Bend Mountain Biking Association. That's a lot. Who maintains our bike trails, and with countless hours of volunteer work, and also our beer sponsors, which are St. Arnold, Tallyard, and Texas Leaguer. If you come to any one of our Parks event series, does that go against the ethics thing now that I'm thinking about, not the beer? It doesn't? Okay, sorry.
You know, earlier.
Make sure beer is not in the road.
It's all on board, you're fine.
I'll get a complimentary Parks event series. Next is our Food Truck Friday event. Typically, we have a DJ or maybe a concert, and this is held in Memorial Park. At this event, you can enjoy a variety of sweet and savory food trucks. It's family friendly. We have face painting, balloon twisting, high energy DJ, or sort of party type of vibe at Food Truck Friday. In August, we will host Party at the Plaza at Smart Financial. Our past events have featured professional dance groups, Houston's cover bands, and newly formed groups for entertainment. Party on the Plaza will also have food trucks and kids' activities as well. And most of the time at these events, we also have our sponsors or different vendors to visit as well. They give away free stuff. I know you guys like free stuff. Everybody likes free stuff. Anybody have a dog? Or dogs? Nobody has a dog? Only two people from this side are invited. Happy hour. Happy hour.
What else could come?
All the beer for you. At this event, we have a plethora of dog vendors, doggy spas, doggy daycare, vets, some of the most outrageous doggy things you've ever seen. Last year, yes, Benicia, who is one of our event coordinators, she had a picture station, I believe, where an artist literally painted a picture of you and your dog, or just your dog. It is so cute, and put it in a frame. Super cute. And this is held at Palm Spring Dog Park near the pavilion. These photos are just some photos that were taken and some of my favorite from 2024. This guy right here who looks like he's literally jumping in the sky. That was one of my favorite photos from 2024 during Bikes and Brews.
Making beer at the same time?
I don't know. Possibly. Getting up there high, kicking off our 2025 events in the spring is International Art and Kite Fest. I did say Christmas tree lighting was my favorite, but it's actually International Art and Kite Fest. Because as I've mentioned, it is so bright, so vibrant, just like my team and I.
That's a good one.
With this event, we make art, culture, and kite flying our focal point. We bring in painters that work on their art throughout the event so participants can see it come to life, which is one of my favorite parts of it. I like to see the artists that we hire start painting in the morning at like 7, 8 o'clock. And then throughout the day, you can kind of see the Taj Mahal or some kind of other painting that they've painted. And it's so awesome. Our main stage is filled with performances or cultural performances from India, Turkey, China, and other countries. We host kite flying competitions as well as chalk art competitions, which has actually become very competitive here lately. My niece, who drives from Baytown to Sugarland just to compete. She's working on getting first. See? Jen is too. One of our, Heather too. Heather,
Yeah, we
yes,
did.
this is one of our
And Joe too.
our judges.
Me too. Yeah, we did.
Okay, she'll be back. We plan to host one of our newest events, which is the Pump Track World Qualifier, which is super cool. This 2-day event will be held at our pump track. The dates are still TBD, but the top athletes will get to move on to, I want to say South Africa for the championship.
It's not released.
It's not released yet?
Not released.
Okay.
Okay, that was last year. That was
Last
last
year.
year.
Oh, that was last year.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't know they're gonna have it again there.
We don't know.
Somewhere else.
They'll have it somewhere in the world, but we don't know where yet.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere.
It was South Africa last year. But ours will be the semifinals.
Yeah.
If you win Sugarland, then you get to go to the world.
That might be South Africa.
So that might be anywhere. It changes up.
It changes every year.
And they haven't released their schedule yet, so we don't, there will be multiple qualifiers in the United States this year.
And then a world championship somewhere in the world, and it could be Germany, it could be United States, it could be Africa, but it changes every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, like I said, that is pretty awesome. We had some really pretty awesome athletes last year as well. In May, we'll host our award-winning Memorial Day ceremony to honor the fallen on May 26th from 10 a.m. to 1. Coming up in the fall, which will probably feel like July, is our fall festival in Town Square right here on September 21st. Last but not least, we'll be hosting our annual Christmas tree lighting event in Sugarland Town Square. Currently, this will be our 23rd annual Christmas tree lighting.
Yeah.
That's like our longest running event, right?
That's-
But I'm only 21. Here's some photos from our events this past 2024. It's Fall Fest, Memorial Day here. This is probably one of my favorite pictures from Christmas tree lighting. It doesn't look like much there, but with it blown up, it's beautiful. This is Art and Kite Festival. This was 2 years ago at Fall Festival with the little boy with the dinosaur. And this was a couple of years ago. This was my first International Art and Kite Fest as a event coordinator. And right here, I'm sure you guys can't really see, is the SLTX for Christmas tree lighting at the bottom. Sponsorships. This is how we enhance our events with sponsorship dollars. I will do just about anything for sponsorship dollars. Our sponsors are very near and dear to us, and I actually chose the ones that I have up here because these are the ones who are, first of all, are very easy to work with. And they are also, they've been with us more than 1 year and kind of keep coming back. Tackus is very new, and so is Talliard, but they were great people to work with. But events team brought in about 87 grand last year to help us put on, to help us go overboard with some of our ideas. Our special events trailer. This is something new. The trailer is actually for our employees in different departments that are hosting separate events. They're able to rent out tents, tables, chairs, games, anything that we have on here. The coolest feature, though, on the trailer is the TV. We have a TV. It was Brian's idea. It's so cool. It's like up, and then you press a button and it slowly like comes down like this. It's like MTV Cribs in a trailer. Super cool. But I want you guys to watch our video and see how much of a bad actress I am. The mouse isn't working. Click it.
Don't be scared.
There it is on top.
You have to click on
There you go.
it. Yeah.
The mouse is working.
Job don't give you that look.
Hopefully it's not too loud. Obviously, we had a lot of fun doing that. I did not want to do it. I didn't, but yeah, it was a good idea. But this, if you pass by, City Hall Annex, you'll probably see this in our, parking lot. We have awards from TFEA, which is Texas Festivals and Events Association, which is called the Best in Texas Awards. Unfortunately, we didn't get any golds, but we have 2 bronze and a silver. We got bronze in Christmas tree lighting, event promo video, bronze in best event website. Thank you, Michelle. And silver in best organization website. Thank you, Michelle. We also got a silver from TAF&E, Texas Association Festivals and Events, in Memorial Day. I think the Memorial Day. Best photo for Memorial Day. Memorial Day is pretty awesome. Yeah, questions? Yes.
The special events trailer, is that for employees only, or is that something like the community can request to like?
We do have one that the community can request, but ours is only for employees and like different departments that want to throw their parties and like they don't have the budget or something to go get tables and chairs and stuff like that. They can just, and we have an event portal, by the way, where they can just click and say, hey, I want this, this, and this, check it out, and then bring it back.
We have the sugar cube that's available for any neighborhood to turn a party. So if you're interested, just let us know.
Yeah.
We'll also use the special events trailer for Jorge. We'll bring it out for our own events to use to help set up for our own events. So if it's like a small food truck Friday event, instead of loading up all the supplies into a landscape trailer and bringing it out there, he'll just go connect to this, bring that to the food truck Friday, and then set everything, use all the contents out of the trailer and put it back in the trailer and take it back to Annex the next day.
Yep.
So it's kind of dual purpose.
It's cool. Like Benicia said on the video, cool, trendy, efficient. Anyone else?
I just wanna, so once we release we'll do a big, release of the event schedule, right? Whenever we have established that, just wanna make sure that we're sending out to our Parks Board members so that they have a heads up on all the events.
Absolutely.
So they can follow along and come to.
Okay. For sure.
I just have a comment. Y'all do a great job with every event. Red, white, and
Thank
blue.
you.
Christmas tree lighting, everything I've ever attended, Kite Festival when we're judging, everything is just run so smoothly and you and your team do it so well.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate
much.
that.
Thank you. I learned from the best.
Yes.
So I'll mimic that kudos. So Kelsey?
I was curious on the calendar for this year, will there be a concert or music series in the parks over the summer? I feel like we have had that in years past.
Yes, I think we are going to do the DJ series in Memorial Park. Yeah. But Shay does have summer sound. Or not.
Maybe.
Comments or questions? Any others? No? All right. Carla, thank you so much. That was a great presentation. All right, thank you so much, Ian. The next item on the workshop, we have review of and discussion of the Mayfield Park mural design. Shay Davis will be presenting, as the arts manager.
Hi, I'm Shay Davis. I'm the Civic Arts Manager. So I'm here today to present the design for the Mayfield Park, this memorial that we're gonna be doing, that dedication. So it won't take a long time. The artist actually recorded a video and a message for you guys so you can better understand this process as well. So I'll be able to kind of elaborate and show you guys everything. So this was designed by our artist, Alex Arzu. He was hand selected, based on our roster by the liaison group that we established in Mayfield Park. So he goes into a little bit of historic background for his particular research, but you guys already know all of this. So I'll go into a little bit of background on what the liaison group is in this overall program. So the liaison group was established because there are hundreds of residents in Mayfield Park and there's only 2 people in civic arts. So we wanted to be able to speak to everyone. So we met with all of the residents who could come first initially, and they hand selected 7 people from the neighborhood of varying ages that they could give photos and information to, and those people worked directly with us and the artists to assist with this design. And we did this over an 8-month period. So these are some of the very specific elements of the design that the artist was very, very careful to kind of focus on, that they brought up a lot of in a lot of our meetings. And so this is where he kind of goes into detail on that.
Showing us the true fact that the location, the church is also developing the similar as a place where it's actually selected. I believe this geographic location is particularly likely, so that's what we're really trying to do to central society programs in the local profile. I'm looking at the several restaurants, and also create a bunch of assets that I'm going to be using as our own family to listen. Actually, as well as the church in the shop. It's actually one of the assets and related to this. I use perspective and the aspect ratio of the basketball court to connect the composition in the example. Something special happens.
So one of the things that he really deeply focused on again was a lot of the things that they mentioned. The streetlights in Mayfield Park come on at 6 p.m. every night. He made sure to include the clock in there. He has, so because they all remember doing that as a kid, as soon as the streetlights come on, they needed to be at home. He made sure to include that. The pecan trees that were all over Mayfield Park, he made sure to include that. So a lot of the elements that the actual liaisons brought to him, memories that they had growing up in that community, he made sure to include that into the overall design and really focus that on basketball. He designed 2 colors, which is this darker color, and then here's this lighter color. So that's kind of what we're taking to the liaisons to kind of make a decision on. And that's our discussion today is these 2 different colors that he has here, which one will be better for the overall park. And so then we'll go into the, obviously conversation about longevity. This is designed to last about 5 to 10 years. There will be a graffiti coating on it. The paint that's being used is just specifically a slip resistant paint that's designed to be done on basketball courts. This particular artist has done about 14 of these, from here to Austin to Dallas. And it's kind of like his specialty. It does need to be cleaned every 3 to 5 years. It's a basic power wash. And if there are any additional issues with it, any scuffing, he is on contract for the next 3 years to come back and repair those issues. So other than that, and we kind of have the discussion on like what this means, like why are we doing this? If you have any history of Mayfield Park and have had any conversations with that community, they really have felt a little bit, left out of the things that happen in the city. We don't actually have currently any art pieces at all in that community whatsoever. And it was the first community of the city. So it's really important to kind of honor them and make sure that they feel like their legacy is being preserved, because their legacy is the legacy of the city. I don't know where my last slide went, but I do have a slide that leads you guys to the website. So once we start, which will be at the end of the month, it'll be painted through the February, which would be Black History Month. We'll be finishing up that piece during that month. There will be signs out there with QR codes that lead you directly to our website, and our website will have the design on there, updates, all of that stuff is completely been renovated. So definitely encourage you guys to visit the new Civic Arts website. It has all of our new pieces on it, and it will also be making sure that it kind of steps through everything that's happening with this particular piece. So I'll just go back to those 2 color designs, and obviously get you guys' opinion on what you particularly feel, and then we'll be taking that to the liaison board.
Comments?
Absolutely.
By the way, you've done a great job too, like all the things that you brought to the city, just love all of them. And this is such a cool thing too. So I'm really excited. I'm just wondering if the artist has like received any feedback from like people who actually play, like which colors actually like don't impact them as much when they're playing. Like, can you see the stripes like on the court with the different colors? Just wondering if he's thought about that or have heard back from like his experience. He said he's done like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Just like, has any of the players ever mentioned like, oh, this bright color, it was hard to see like free throw line or the 3-point line or something like that?
Not anything that he's mentioned to me. I would hasten to think that he would include that in the design if that was the case. But if you can see that white line is really what the important thing is, right? That's gonna be your free throw line, your half court line, etc. Those are very prominent in both designs. So those are gonna be the main focus, and then the design is subsequent behind those things. So when you actually have your court line where you're actually playing, those are very prominent on both of the designs, and that's kind of where they focus the games at. So I don't see that there would be any additional issues, but even if there was, with there being white against either one of these backgrounds, they would be prominent colors.
And one more question I have, did he mention anything about just like the heat absorption from either one of like which color, which palette like absorbs more or less heat or gives off more heat or anything like that?
I think anytime you would go with like a black background, you're gonna get more heat absorption, but the paint is designed specifically for basketball courts and it's designed for outdoor use, so it's gonna eliminate that regardless. Also, it'll have a coating on it that's an anti-UV coating. The purpose of that is to decrease the amount of heat that's absorbed so it doesn't break apart the paint to where it's easily scuffed, or that it actually comes up a lot easier. And that paint and coating lasts about 25 years on everything, even water tanks and things like that. So it's really heavily designed for outdoor use.
Questions, comments?
This is a quick one. I just wondered, you said the longevity of the mural would last between 5 and 10 years, maybe. So what's the plan possibly after that?
Removal. We'll probably remove it, and it could be replaced with another mural. I would love for it to be replaced with another mural. So I guess the discussion will be on that afterwards, and we'll talk to Parks and see if they're open to it. But removal is pretty easy. So after that time comes up, then they have a specific paint that removes the coating, and they have another disintegrator that then removes the overall paint, and it'll go back to its initial color.
Andy, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so I would say for the color wise, I do like I'm not picking. I'm saying like, you don't have to be afraid of something bold and colorful like option 1. Think of a tennis court.
Yeah.
You know how bright those are, especially the blue and the green ones. And that can be, heat absorption, whatever is fine. And duration should be good. A lot of running and wear and tear, but I do like the bold and brilliance of, either of these, but I like the first one because it's just like, I remember Mayfield, it's like going there, especially from the opening, it's just very bright and bold and beautiful, you know, so it's just resilience of that color just makes you know the branding of that location. And plus all the waters and everything is like blue to the water, green to the grass and nature, and then I like how the black frames it out. But there's a lot of good, I guess, ideas and concept that embolds into this design for both of them, but I like the boldness of the blues and the greens right there. Can't wait, Joe?
I too love this design because you spoke of the symbolism, the pecan trees, the peninsula that is Mayfair Park, and then the basketball players and the clock. You can see it in this one, and I couldn't see it in the other one as much, but as long as it does not impact the players. And you said that the marks are pretty clear for the free throw line and all that. So but I love the contrast in option one.
Kelsey, go ahead.
I may be selfish. I don't know if I'm conflicting myself, but I live very easy walking distance from this park. But I gotta say, I gotta vote for the first one. I really love the bold colors. I think the artists clearly did their work because I think it's gonna fit really beautifully. Either scheme into the park setting. It is beautiful and bright, and it's got a lot of these cool elements that are unique to the neighborhood, but I'm particularly fond of the bold colors of the first one.
I do have, oh, go ahead, Sonny.
So on the practical side, you mentioned that the paint's designed to not be slippery. I guess that would be my one concern, as it is a basketball court. You don't want to increase the potential for slipping or whatever when they're playing, right? So
it's very similar, like you said, to the tennis court. Those type of basketball courts have this anti-skid resistant. It's almost like gravelly. I don't know if you've been on a tennis court and they paint those, it's kind of like this gravity. Yeah, it's like,
You don't want to fall and rub yourself on it because it'll.
yeah.
It's
That other
So-
one. Yeah, so
coating, it's texture coating.
So did I hear you right? Will there be lighting at the court as well?
there is lighting at the court now.
No lighting at the court.
No lights.
No.
Play after.
The sign has lighting.
Okay.
And the restroom has a little bit of security lighting, but the basketball court is not lit, mostly because our neighborhood parks are not meant to be past dusk.
Okay, okay.
That's the dawn parks, so they're not really meant to be, the rules state after dusk, after dark. The park's closed, so. We don't really have any lighting in our neighborhood parks other than security lighting, basic security lighting. Okay, so no, it's not a lit basketball court because residents want to go to sleep and they don't want to hear bouncing balls, so. We got other lit we have, regional and community level parks that are lit,
Right.
Lighted fields, but not neighborhood parks generally, no.
Makes sense. Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
One last question, the playground equipment, do you remember what color that is? Just wondering if it like matches.
Bright
Blues and greens.
Yeah.
Photos of those.
Yeah, it's blues and greens.
So did you want us to provide, recommendation or
Just
how?
feedback on the colors, before we take it to the liaison group.
Okay, just want to make sure. I like, as a player, I tend to go a little bit more muted because it's easier to kind of focus. Come on. So, but I mean, I like that. I really like the first design just for the effects of art. But as a kind of combining that aspects of playing, I tend to kind of lean into the other one because it's easier to see the lines, even though it's prominent, but compare this one to the other one, I think it's more prominent on this one. Yeah.
The lines you can see more.
Because I mean, just kind of mimicking what Heather had asked, getting feedback from actual players would be, it might be different. I don't know if he's done that with the other communities and locations. Because even though art is great to have bright figures out there, especially in parks, which I really, really love. But if you're going to incorporate art with sports, there's got to be some give and take. This is my feedback.
So one of the things that is super important when you're doing like an outdoor, especially full sun painting, is to start with bright colors. It will fade. There's really nothing you can do. Even if you put a coating on it, it will fade over time. So one of the things that is very important is to kind of start with the bright colors. So as it fades over time, you're not having to go and do as many touch-ups. So when you start with more muted tones, you end up with almost like grays and browns over time. As with these type of colors, you end up with just a little bit dim, and then you can fix that. So that's one of the things like when you see, especially hopefully we'll end up doing like a water tower or something, you'll see that that's going to be very bright to start. And then it's going to start to fade over time because it's receiving direct sunlight, uninhibited all the time, along with pedestrian traffic.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead. You go.
I'd say, and in that case, they could probably just always like, they usually restrict like the.
Exactly.
The point.
So there's stark differences between this one and the other one.
Yes.
Now, I wonder if there's any other renderings that kind of incorporate a midpoint between these two.
He just has these two. So so we met with the liaison group mid-December, and he had a completely different design. They completely honed in on just these two. So these are kind of where we ended up with on that.
Tracy?
In looking at the satellite map, I really like the contrast between all the grass and the green trees, and I love this blue because I feel like the green will just kind of blend in with all the grassy area around there, and we get really intense green grass in most times of the year. So I think that's really nice, the contrast.
Okay.
Amazing. Well, that was all for me.
I think Kelsey has. Johnson.
You mentioned that there was signage with a QR code that explains like about the artist or about the design, so they'd get to see that. Is that a permanent installation or is that a temporary
So
signage?
that's gonna be temporary at first. So they'll be putting up temporary fencing while he's painting. And with that temporary fencing, we always kind of have this sign up that says new art coming soon. And with that, there'll be a QR code where it'll take you to our website so you can kind of follow along the process. It'll also have the video from the artist listed, so you can watch that and kind of see what's coming. Once it's completed, then there'll actually be a plaque for that, and then you'll actually be able to see it on our website, fully lifted with all of the reactive messaging. Yes.
One last question, too. You mentioned that there's gonna be anti-graffiti coating, because that's important for murals, because I've worked on projects that has to have that.
Absolutely.
I think are y'all planning to do retouches every year, or is it, because I know they wear out after a little bit of time?
The anti-graffiti coating is 25 years long. So for this one, he's contracted to come back in 3 years and see how it's doing. And then he's available for touch-up. So like if it's something necessary where we need another graffiti coating, he's made himself available, but he's contracted for the next 3 years to come and do such.
Perfect, thank you.
I mean, when is it gonna be painted, like the start of the painting, and how long does it take again?
So he'll be painting January 27th. He'll be finished on February the 12th, and then he'll be applying the graffiti coating, which won't be done until February 15th, and we're looking at a ribbon cutting around the week of the 17th of February.
Wow, that's right on the corner.
Yes, they're right on top of it.
Last set of questions, comments? No, great. Shay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank
Appreciate
you. All right. Last but not least, it's the director's report. Parks and topics, upcoming events, recap of the November and December. Ms. Kimberly Terrell, Director of Parks and Rec, will be presenting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I wanted to talk first, so big report in front of you. Obviously, we're November, December, we're catching up, right? And catching y'all up with what we've been doing. But I wanted to focus on our people first before I get to the pretty pictures or the not so pretty pictures and the slides. Wanted to, y'all have met Brianna Williams, but wanted to reintroduce her as our new Assistant Director over Recreation and Events. Brianna's been with us for about 17 years, right? 17 years. She started as a part-timer in events and has worked her way up through the department on the events side. But we're really excited to have her on board as an assistant director, and she's doing great things already, even though it's only been, I don't know, well, there's a vacation in there. It's been a short amount of time, but we're excited to have Brian on board as her assistant director. And y'all saw Carla is the interim manager position while we're working all of that stuff out on who gets the spot permanently. So wanted to make sure, because, it was weird doing it at the beginning of the meeting, so. Also, we recently, every December, we have our employee banquet. And we recognize all of our employees are awesome, but we recognize those that have gone above and beyond for that previous year and noted them in the report, but just wanted to make sure to mention them too. Sometimes things happen, in our city or in our parks. And, a lot of times, our folks are there and are able to help. One event, we had our tree planting at Cullinan Park. There was an elderly gentleman that was helping out that tree planting event, and he started to have signs of distress, and he needed assistance. William and his team, specifically Jason, Lorenzo, Jesse, and Luis, jumped into action and helped get him, mobilized, help stabilize him, help transport him, called 911 to get, the fire department there to take care of him, and really took extra steps to make sure that he was good and in a good place and transported safely to the hospital. And he's recovered, right, William? Yeah, so he's doing well, but they really jumped into action to make sure that he was gonna be okay. And then shortly after that, our employees, Jesse and Ruben, they were traveling between parks and happened upon an accident, and stopped to render aid. And there was a lady who was bleeding severely. Jesse, did try to keep her calm and actually created a tourniquet, first like a fabric tourniquet, and then using a ratchet strap to tourniquet that leg to stop the bleeding and to prevent her from bleeding further and for being in further distress. So EMS was very, I get teary, right? So sorry. EMS, came and jumped in and were able to transfer her to the hospital. But it's, those steps could have made, life and death difference. And that even triggered, and we had training today, like instituting stop the bleed training to employees to make sure that we are prepared for such things. So even that tragedy turned into something that to take advantage of to train our employees. So I saw all of our park staff here today and stop the bleed training. So that's great. So I just wanted to point those out. And then Patty and Quacho, our part-timers, got part-time Trailblazer of the Year. Quacho is actually he's won before part-time employee of the year. So Patty is a recreation specialist, so she works in our recreation center, and Quacho is a park ambassador. So he's eyes and ears for us, on nights and weekends, and patrolling the parks, and he does a tremendous job as well. So wanted to make sure before I get into pretty or not so pretty pictures that I make fabulous stuff. Okay, so park maintenance, they have been just super busy as always. So I call these the not so pretty pictures, right? So our park staff they're out there all the time, and we really rely on them to notice problems before they become serious problems. So on the left is a really icky picture of what the Oyster Creek fountain looks like when you drain it out. So there were flow issues that were going on, and they really got to literally the bottom of it. To make sure that those were taken care of, and in the cold and the wet and the icky, I watch micro dirty jobs, love it, right? So, but it's sort of those things, they're getting down and dirty to make sure that things stay operational. Things like picnic tables, we're always cleaning and making sure that we keep those in tip-top shape for our users. This picture right here, boardwalk, that's at Cullinan Park, just going, taking care of trees and anything that impedes our user experience, right? We always want to stay on top of. And then Eldridge Park on the right-hand side, we love our fuzzy feathered friends, our ducks and geese, et cetera. But a lot of times, especially when folks are feeding them often, they can create a nuisance just by the sheer amount of poop that ends up on places like boardwalks, et cetera, which ends up being a greater problem. So they make sure to stay on top of things like that and have to go out and clean up after them. I recommend not feeding. Let them feed themselves. We do have signage out there that also encourages people to not feed. Wildflower seeding. Buckland has just a great passion for wildflowers that she shares with all of us.
her vision and is our vision too, is that you don't have to go anywhere outside the city for those bluebonnet, for those wildflower pictures. So that's our vision. So wildflowers, you'd think it's like, okay, I'm gonna put some seed and then I'm just gonna let it be and there's gonna be great wildflowers. That's not the case. It's constant sort of year after year wildflower seedings, mowing at the right time, tending that to make sure that those come up. So these pictures were at Brazos River Park here recently with some volunteers to do some additional wildflower seeding. So it's really cool if you know, when we get to wildflower season sooner rather than later, right? It'll be in a couple months. When you drive along that road, that connector road between Brazos and Memorial, they pop up really well around there. So that group of volunteers was helping us do that. Some folks like to be more, you know.
100 pounds of seed.
Wow.
Donated from KSLB, so the seed was no cost, and sowing it was almost all volunteers besides Spellman and Caitlin. So 100 pounds, about 100 pounds a year is what we generally do. I only got a little bit as well, but most of it goes to Brazos River Park. So it should be a good spring. Should be pretty out there in the springtime, and we've been getting some consistent rain. So.
Monarch Pledge, we have been doing that since 2021, that we're being recognized as for the it's part of the National Wildlife Federation. It's that we're providing things that help create this habitat for monarch butterflies and sort of a stopping point during the migration. So we've been doing that since 2021. Just wanted to point out that we're required to complete at least 3 items to be able to do this annually, but we completed 6. So we're going above and beyond to make sure that we're creating and restoring habitat for those monarch butterflies. Our butterfly garden, I think y'all maybe have seen it, have been, it's near the windmill at Sugar Memorial Park, the one that's out kind of on the other side of the lake. So if you wanna visit or volunteer, volunteers help us maintain that space. We have lots of cool sign projects coming up that are currently under bid, and we're working on getting started. Cullinan Park Trail Map, you know, we added new trails. We've got to make sure that we tell people where they are and where they're going. So additions to those trails to the trail map is under bid right now. And then an exciting one, and I know that y'all have seen, it's probably been several years now, kind of the wayfinding sign project. So this is when the city originally started doing the wayfinding signs that you'll see around the city, gosh, that was probably back in, I don't know, 2012, 2013, we started doing that. There was always sort of a series, right? So along the roadways, there's bigger ones and they kind of step out, you know, step down throughout the city. So these are more of the, not quite the pedestrian scale, but the intermediate scale. As we've added things to Memorial Park, to Brazos River Park, we need to make sure that we let people know where those things are. Like they get to Memorial Park, well, where is Go A? Where's the pump track? Where are these things? So on this sign, you can't see it, but so like this sign right here is you can't see it. It's Brazos River Park, you know, that way, Lakeside Pavilion, Palm Springs Dog Park. And so it's really letting people know kind of how to get to places. We have very small signs right now, and they're easy to miss, hard to see. So these will really stand out. This project is under bid right now as well.
We got so many people asking us, where's the pump track or where's Go A? And so we really try to include all those things on the sign. And there's 7 of them total. And they span the roundabout all the way down to Brazos River Park, and they're directing people in both directions. So no matter what direction you come, and you'll see a sign that kind of tells you what's what. And we got a lot going on at Memorial Brazos River Park, let's face it. And the levee kind of blocks your vision to the pump track. So you need to know when to turn right? And so those signs will help you. And then they're level 3. So the level 4 is what you see out in the highway, to level 3. So they're large signs, but they're gonna be a little bit smaller than your highway traffic. They're more like neighborhood signage. But they're definitely bigger than your pedestrian signage. They're vehicle wayfinding signage. And bids come back tomorrow, Thursday. So we're very interested to get the bids back and move forward to city council with the lowest qualified bidder. So yeah. Caitlin and Pullman have been working on that project for a long time. You think these projects are kind of simple and there's really a lot to them, you know, engineer drawings, specifications, bids, equal bids. It's all a process. So we're looking forward to getting this implemented probably this summer.
All right, the senior holiday gala, we partied with about 500 seniors back in December over across the street at the Marriott. Lots of good tunes, lots of dancing. Our seniors can turn any song into a line dance, which is a very special. I can't line dance, so I just have, I have much envy for that. And we convinced some of the new firefighters that were new to the force to come and dance with the seniors. So they were there and then we're thinking about, it's like, hey, it's really good to have firefighters here because they're trained medically just in case. Like, I think that's a good.
That's awesome.
We'll continue that going forward.
Yeah, it is. It is.
William touched on this a little bit, but I've got some pictures. So the cardio weight room, I stopped by there today and it's just, it feels like more than even these pictures
Yeah.
show. Like there is so much in there. We have I won't say the brand name of the fans because I don't know, big A fans. And on the ceiling, right, to circulate the air, and it's cardio equipment, which the cardio equipment's more on like this wall in this picture, so you can't really see it, but cardio equipment, bicycles, we got a couple of Peloton bikes in there. We've got a lot of, weights, we've got free weights, we've got all kinds of things there. So we'll let you know when we're ready to open. We're getting very close. We're working out some kinks and doing some punch list items with the contractor, and we're kind of, all of our employees are guinea pigs and testing things out and providing us comments, et cetera. So we want to make sure it's ready for everybody when it opens. We'll let y'all know. Farmers market activities, so we're activating the farmers market more, probably at least quarterly right now. So during Christmas time, we had Santa. This ended up all inside because it was just super chilly and awful. And so we pivoted and we brought Santa inside. Santa was supposed to be outside, but we brought Santa inside. We also had our employees who, I don't know that they love to dress up, but they get to dress up as characters and elves and things, also being in the market. So it was a good time. We had a good crowd to take Santa photos. So it was the day after tree lighting. So if you missed tree lighting, come get your pictures here. Our next event at the farmers market is going to be a New Year's celebration with the Chinese dragon and all of those things. So they apparently came out last week and we're sightseeing over there. So we'll let y'all know. Christmas tree lighting, of course. Thank y'all for coming out to Christmas tree lighting. It was a good time as always. Unlike Carla, I don't have a favorite event. I love them all the same. But Christmas tree lighting is always time, but it was a really good event. The weather was just about perfect. It was just chilly enough to feel like Christmas, but wasn't like raining and wasn't sleeting, and it was really good. So enjoyed the good time there. And then Valentine's Day flower handout at the T. Harmon Center at the Senior Center. Our seniors, seniors in general, we like to make connections with them, right, as often as we can. Some folks, especially during Valentine's Day, they may not have, somebody. So we try to be their somebody. So we hand flowers out to every member who comes in the door that day for Valentine's Day. We've been doing that for a few years, and it's very special to us and to our seniors. And then before we take questions, I did want to mention, I don't have a pretty slide for it, but I wanted to just let y'all know kind of where we are with the Senior Center Master Plan, because I know that we've kind of, y'all asked about it in other meetings, so just wanted to give y'all an update. If you recall, when we brought it to you, gosh, it's been months now, we were looking at the 65-acre site that was over in Telfair. We've since had numerous discussions and even a feasibility study with the airport that site won't support the building because of some of the restrictions on gathering with the airplanes and some of the restrictions we have there just being adjacent to the airport. So the site that we're looking at now is kind of the second one we had on the list, which is the existing site. So we're looking at some options at the existing T. Harmon Center site. We've just regrouped with our architect just this week, so we're not ready to bring you anything yet. But just know that we're working on that, and we'll be bringing some options forward to y'all in the coming months on that. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Great job, like always. A couple months ago, you guys shared some information about the pilot program for the car pickup within like the Sugarland car pickup pilot program. Do you have any updates on that and when that would be rolled out?
I don't, but I could get, I believe that I saw that they were taking that to council. I think that they were getting authorized to go out for a request for proposals on that to get folks, to figure out who, you know, what cars would be there. You know, and all the details. I'll see what I can find out to see if we have an ETA on that. I'm really excited about that program too. And I'm excited to roll that out to our seniors because our seniors have a lot of problems with transportation and are often relying on the county for their free transportation, which is often unreliable. So I'm super excited about that program. So we'll find out. We'll let you know.
Andy?
Okay, so not the sky lift idea that it's been going on. No, but anyway, besides that, no, I like the whole end of the year roundup with everything that's done last year, and then I'm looking forward to this coming year because with all the, I guess, the new stuff that's coming out there, or actually just to grow the wildflowers to the butterflies to all the event, looks really good. Besides that, I think that's everyone's doing a great job and congrats with all the new stuff, and then that's it.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead, Tracy.
What kind of maintenance goes on at the mosaic at the festival site? Because I noticed that when we were taking pictures there before the holidays, there were a lot of tiles missing and things.
The tiles have been, there have been periods of time where the tiles come off and we work with Shay and her group and Civic Arts. We let them know, you know, or they inspect it. They do inspections as well. It's like, hey, these tiles are coming off. And so then they work with the artist to replace it. I haven't checked on that recently, but I'll make sure to mention that.
I have brought it up to their attention that there's quite a few tiles missing and they're well aware.
Okay, cool.
And I believe they were looking at movement of the wall. They met with engineering out there to see if the wall could be minimized on the movement, because the movement's what's popping them off. Not the integrity of the tile cement. And so they were wanting to address that before they got the artist back out. I don't know where they're at with it though, but I do know they're well aware of those tiles, some of those tiles missing, yes.
A lot of it's happening at those expansion joints where they have that opportunity for movement, like William said. Yeah.
And then I noticed the Go Ape trailer, there was a lot of trash around before the holidays. I didn't know if that was something that was concerning.
Yeah, I have an update on that. So I went out there, me and Kimberly actually went out there and met with one of the Go Ape managers, and I didn't see the trash, but I do know that the trailer is looking a bit old and weathered in its place. I have strongly asked Go Ape to move quickly on their permanent office, and you can see that two trailers, if you go there, you can see across from Go Ape behind them to the right of the restrooms, where the art mural sign used to be. Behind that, there is two permanent Go Ape trailers that are under construction, and they're getting their wood cladding. And once they finish that, then they're going to connect the utilities, and then they're going to start moving their stuff from that trailer over to the offices. The front one is an office, and I believe a store, a Go Ape store, stacks and apparel. And then the back is the harness, their equipment storage harnessing. And it's metal buildings, but they're getting cladded in wood to kind of make them look better, similar to what we did at Cullinan Park restrooms. And then they told us he told me and Kimberly they'd finish the end of January, and then in February he's planning on moving out, transitioning from his mobile office to the permanent office, and then getting that trailer out of a parking lot.
Good.
So hopefully by the spring, we've been very gracious with Go Ape. We want them to succeed, and we know they had some weather issues with the hurricane that really messed them up bad. So we're giving them extra grace, but Kimberly knows I stay on top of it pretty well. And I've kind of given them some deadlines and some expectations. And hopefully by March, we should be seeing that trailer leaving and then into their permanent home to the right of the restrooms.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then they also promised to help pick up trash around the park too. So the manager promised he'd get his staff to help pick up trash around the parking lot. And I said, do you want us to do that? And I was like, why wouldn't I want you to do that? Like, it's so clean, like we keep our park so clean. He's like, y'all just want to do it or? And I was like, no, it's a joint effort. We can all pick up trash. If there's trash, let's pick it up. So we're all gonna do our part. And Go seems like the new manager seems to be very interested and being cooperative and a neighbor, a good friendly neighbor. But yeah, by March, I'm expecting to see the full transition and that mobile trailer out of there. I told him I need my parking back. You know, we have events coming up, big events coming up, Kite Fest. So that's kind of where we're at with Go 8.
Thank you.
And they are fully open. They're fully open. They had some damages from the hurricane. Obviously, some trees fell. Y'all know that. A lot of my parks had trees falling. But the good news is our hurricane repairs are all done on our end. But y'all knew that. But then Go 8 did get their course 100% open. So they're now, you know, they're getting that revenue back in. So.
Any other comments?
I had a question.
Yes, please.
As streetscapes related with mobility improvements, namely, there's the intersection at Highway 6 and Settlers Way where it looks like an additional lane will be added, which will take up some of the existing median. There's been trees cut down, and I just wonder if there's like with the Parks and Rec, do y'all attempt to do any transplanting of things like existing landscaping that's there, rose bushes or ground cover or anything, or is that gonna be just kind of, you know, removed and then made way for pavement? Just was curious of what the process was, if it's even worth it.
Yeah, I'm not, the Parks Department hasn't been approached with it. Typically in the past, is we've been over right away, or even in park projects, that a new shrub will be less expensive than the activity of transplanting an existing shrub. So I can't speak to them and what they're doing out there specifically to that project, but when we've looked at it and run the cost, it usually just ends up more cost effective to purchase new plants.
So it's the feedback for y'all, just to let y'all know, I mean, we've been really good positive feedback in terms of the park usage early in the morning. I'm one of them. And I'm out there 4:35 in the morning running on weekdays, not just weekends, weekdays, including Saturdays. So there's an increase of flux of people, which is surprising to me so early. And so, which is great to see, and I've been getting feedback and just FYI on that level. It's nice to see. It's nice to see that more and more people are on there.
Yeah, maybe in a future meeting, we can get Funland to come and talk about Placer AI and the parks usage data that we can show y'all.
Yeah, she's given an update, but it's been a minute. But yeah, y'all, I remember y'all very surprised at the numbers, but yeah, we could do that, Kimberly.
Any other comments or questions?
I just have one real quick, Kimberly. Can I just tell the Parks Board that the plan for the weekend is we're gonna have to shut down the restrooms that are open air and not heated. So if it's a community center that has heat, if it's a concession stand that has a restroom tied to it that has a heater, we can keep that open, but the open air restrooms will have to get closed starting this week, Thursday, Friday. Why? Because it's gonna get really cold Sunday and we are afraid that pipes are gonna bust, water leaks. We only got one guy that works on the weekends. And it would be many hours before he might see it, and then you got potential remodeling that has to happen. Like 2 years ago in Uri, when I remodeled the Eldridge, had the pleasure of remodeling the Eldridge concession stand. And I reminded my guys, it's remodeled once, I don't want to do it again. Okay, so the unair conditioned open air restrooms will have to just get water turned off, doors locked, and a sign put up that says closed for weather. And Michelle's going to help us get it on social media. We'll have signs on all the doors, but it's just a precaution. We just cannot, guys, Uri, this is gonna get cold. Maybe not as cold as Uri, but it's gonna be cold. Sunday, Monday, maybe even Tuesday. And it's gonna warm up just slightly above freezing, but it's gonna go right back down. And that's our concern, is when it goes below like 25, 26, that's a hard freeze. And that's really, really problematic to our copper pipes that are in our buildings. So Uri even had, we had some leaks, even though we drained the water out, the residual water. So now we're opening up water faucets and we're blowing air through it just to get all the water out. So we don't have any problems. We did that last year in that semi-freeze and it worked really well, no issues. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to close some park restrooms. Fortunately, it's just a precaution people should understand, and we'll get through it. As soon as the freeze is over, we'll get them back open again, okay?
Thank you for that.
Yeah. You mentioned social media. Just want to say, like, the social media page for Parks is like doing really well. I don't know if that's
all Michelle.
Michelle. Like, entertaining and I like those posts a lot. Good job.
Yeah.
One final comment, I'll probably have more updates in February, but Public Works will start construction of our pickleball courts at City Park, near the existing tennis courts pretty soon. They're gonna do some groundwork, earthwork, 3 foot of excavation in select field to help us save some money. The plans were drawn up in-house by our own engineering team. I did the specifications, and we should be going out to bid by the end of this month on that. And simultaneously, Public Works will be doing the prep work for the slab, so we can save some money. So it's like a combination bid / in-house project, and that's 4 pickleball courts at City Park. And it's funded with Sugarland 4B, so it's $173,000 funded project. We don't believe that's enough for the underground work, but Public Works volunteered to do that. And so you'll see some Public Works staff out there going, what are they doing at City Park? And it's 4 pickleball courts coming. So.
Yeah, they took over the tennis courts there.
Yeah, they did it. They did. So we're trying to give them their own space to play. And then, so once we'll keep y'all updated, but we'll be going out to bid at the end of this month. And I've got a really good set of plans that engineering drew up. And then we'll keep y'all updated on the bid process and then construction timeline when we get a little closer. But just wanted to let y'all know what was going on out there at City Park.
Thank you very much.
Big party when it opened.
Hey, this is outside the realm of the parks, but it's gonna, Houston Marathons is coming up this Sunday, go support, and also Sugarland is also having their marathon too, so this month. So keep that in mind, go support. Thank you.
Go run.
Kimberly, thank you so much for the report, appreciate it, that's great.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone. So with that said, can I take a motion to adjourn? Heather, and then you want a second? Okay. All right, thank you so much. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Quick, can I do a quick photo of the people that are here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, should we stand right here with that background, or should we stand here with this background? Huh?
I do. This better, I can move it to a better screen.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.